Good day, viewers. Walter here. Good day, viewers. In yesterday's vlog showed the temporary setup of my Starlink system, and I just stuck it out here in the yard, plugged everything up. My modem is out here on the porch, so the Wi-Fi is having to go through the walls of the house to get in to the center of the house. Really, the modem should be in the center part of the house, but like I say, this is temporary setup. And I wanted to talk a little bit about my reception. Now, for years, I've been with AT&T, paying ridiculous price every month and not being able to download anything. See, if you stream a YouTube video, the best I could usually get was around 360p, which is not even a half of 1080p, and it's just really low quality. But I've been putting up with that for years. Can't help but feel like I'm being ripped off. I put this temporary arrangement out here, and during the night it takes about 5 hours to find your instructions. During the night it said I can expect an interruption about every 10 minutes. It shows a picture of the sky, and I think from the angles that the signals are coming into the dish, the top of that oak tree is interfering with me, and the limbs on that tree over there on the east side are interfering with me, and the top of that crepe myrtle bush. So I've definitely got to do some trimming. But I want to tell you something. Without even trimming any trees or bushes or whatever, I've got 4 devices hooked up to this dish in the house. I've got 2 smart TVs, my cell phone, my desktop computer. I haven't switched the wife's cell phone over to it yet, but I'm getting 1080p on everything in the house. 1080p quality, which is absolutely perfect. Now, 2 or 3 times during the night, it lost a little signal, and it took maybe 2 or 3 seconds with a little hourglass spinning around. But it wasn't long, so I don't call that much of an outage. In the meantime, I'm streaming video in 1080p, which is absolutely perfect picture. It just makes me sick to think of all the money that I've spent with AT&T, $100 and something every month, for this little old cheap reception I've been getting. I've just been putting up with it. When people get used to something, they just stick to it. Just like when I was with DirecTV. It didn't take me long to figure out they were ripping me off. We stayed with them several years, and what a waste. You can get plenty of TVs to watch streaming on YouTube and Netflix and whatever else you want to stream for a whole lot less money. So I'll just leave it this temporary setup until I get my 150-foot cord, and I'll move it on farther out there. Somewhere over there, I'm not sure where. Definitely those 2 bushes are going to have to be trimmed. But like I say, I'm quite satisfied with what I'm getting right here. It's amazing what I'm getting. Even though I am getting a little bit of interference, and the Starlink app tells me check for obstructions. From what I can see on the little diagram, which is hard to understand on the cell phone, these trees are already messing me up right here with this little short 50-foot cord. One of my regular viewers pointed out that it was kind of a bait and switch to sell me that 50-footer. I guess that's what they're selling everybody now. If I'd have known when I planted all these trees that I would be going to Starlink, I wouldn't have planted them. That big old oak tree there, I planted it about 4 feet tall, dug it up out in the woods, planted it way too close to the driveway. And it's amazing what people want to come cut a tree down. power lines run right underneath it, so I can't cut it down. I'll be done, got myself electrocuted. But I came out here to do a little watering and shoot the breeze about my Starlink. I hooked up my mesh network in the house. It's in one of the upstairs bathrooms, and hopefully that'll boost my signal inside, my Wi-Fi inside the house a little bit. But it hasn't dropped off in quality at all. If you go on YouTube, and if you're on AT&T or one of the less than best quality video, there's a little gear down at the bottom of the video. You can check your settings, and it'll tell you what quality video you're receiving if you click on that. It won't be 1080p if you're one of these AT&T internet services. But AT&T gets good quality in some places. They have fiber optics and everything else. They just won't come out here in the country. So I'm kind of talking through my hat. But AT&T's been ripping people out here in the country off for years. The power company that comes through here, Central Georgia EMC, is talking about they're going to run their own cable network out here to all the poles. You can hook up to them to stream internet service. But I think I'm going to be quite happy with this Starlink. And I got to come up with a better, taller mount. I haven't ruled out going on the roof of the house. That's still an option for a permanent setup. But permanent setup's going to require digging a conduit to wherever our final destination is. You don't want to have to move your dish every time you cut the grass. Anyway, I've just been ranting and raving about my Starlink today. I'll show you a little bit of footage on my TV in the living room. And of course you probably won't be able to tell anything from the video. But I can show you that I'm getting a much better quality and very little dropout. And I ain't cut a single bush. I even got some wires and overhead here, power lines. All I did was throw the dish out here in the yard and turn it on. So I'm not totally disappointed with Starlink at all. People expect a miracle of 100 and something megabytes per second. I don't care if I'm only getting about 45 or 50. That's a whole lot better than the 5 I've been getting. I'm going to do some watering and get back in the house. Expect an interruption every 10 minutes. Well, with the buffering that's on there, you very seldom notice it. I haven't had that much trouble with it. Obstructions. Here's a picture of where it's looking at the sky, and as it rotates, which leads me to believe the dish is looking in various directions at the same time. See the red color in there? That's an obstruction that's in the way. There's north. There's the top of one of them trees. Now the red don't mean the signal's gone. It's just obstructed. May not be quite as strong. That being east is that tree on the right. There's the oak tree. And I haven't raised it up off the ground. If I raise my antenna up higher, I'll have less obstruction. Anyway, I just was going to show you that little bit. Let's go back and speed test. 20, 30, 50, 70, 75. 75 megabits per second is plenty enough to stream 1080p. I sure didn't have it with AT&T. It'll take me a while to get my permanent setup done, but I guarantee you, unless something big happens, Walter's going to be setting up a permanent arrangement for Starlink. Let's just turn on the television.
My own venison, my own steaks. The Midwest is a target on our back.
Now this is on my antenna, which is just a clothes hanger out in the backyard. But you don't get all of the channels when you're on that little homemade antenna I'm using. But what I do get is pretty good quality. It's far off that antenna, it's like 1080p right there. And that's off a little clothes hanger wire. So when YouTube and everything else has been throttled back because of my poor internet service from AT&T, I just can't help but feel like I'm being ripped off. Let's go to YouTube. See my subscriptions. Oh, let's go to home. How many people watch Let's Dig 18? I enjoy watching his videos. Say I wanted to watch a movie. Here's, well, that's Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Over Her Dead Body. Doesn't sound like anything I would want to watch, but let's click it. See, there's no delay at all in it loading. When I would crank it up on AT&T, sometimes it would take a full minute just to get YouTube started. Skip this ad. Couldn't ask for a prettier picture than that right there, and that's looking through trees and obstructions. I lowered the volume because I didn't want any copyright strikes on my video. Let's go check out the news. Oh, I was watching a race today. How many people was watching the horse race? I was on an antenna and I was watching the horse races in Sarasota, Florida. And the poor horse broke his leg and they had to put it to sleep. He was an undefeated, she was an undefeated filly. Her name was Maple something. And she was out in the lead, got about 10 feet from the finish line, and her leg gave out on her. She fell and rolled. The jockey got dumped out in the dirt, and they never did show the replay. I don't know if it'll be on the news or not. But they came back and told later they had to put her to sleep. But that horse gave her all trying to win that race. And she definitely had it won. Nobody was going to beat her. But a broke leg sure finished her off. I don't know if it would be on the news or not. National news wouldn't be there. Maybe in sports. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. How many people saw that poor horse break its leg? She was giving her all to win that race. It's like, I'm not going to let them beat me, and she speeded up. It was really sad to watch. Anyway, it's Pwalpar. Going to conclude today's video with just a little look at my TV. See what YouTube is trying to push on me here. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. Let's go back to movies. Okay, that'll work right there. You push the video to play it. I gotta get past the commercial. So the movie starts. See that, well, let me scroll over there to it. The gear is right there for your settings. You go into settings, quality, automatic, 1080p. on AT&T's internet service, it was automatically dropping me to 360p. So the streaming service that I'm getting now just automatically jumps up to 1080p. And you don't realize when you're looking at a crummy picture how you can really get used to looking at a crummy picture. But now that I'm getting to see everything in 1080p, I don't think I ever want to go back to AT&T without some complete loss of signal from Starlink. But if you're having trouble with your internet service, you're streaming from YouTube or any streaming service, go to the quality right there at the settings. See, 1080p, 720p, 480p, 360p, 240p. That's how far it'll automatically drop you if you're getting a poor signal before it won't stream anymore. Most of you probably already knew that, but some people might not have known it. All right, I'm going to conclude today's video. I want y'all to have a great weekend, what's left of it. Pwalpar wishing everybody well.